to catch you guys up, we had our bacon sauteing, and then in our pan over here, we put in 2 cups of sourdough starter, 1.5 cups of whole milk, 1/2 cup of melted butter, and we're about to add in 4 eggs to our sourdough discard waffle thing. So didn't miss too much, but hopefully the sound is back on and working. So that is 2, 3, and 4. And now we are going to mix up our liquid ingredients until they're combined nicely. Here we go. Give it a nice little whip. Perfect. Okay. Here we've got our mixtures mixed together. Now we are going to add in our baking powder and our salt and sugar. We're going to add our flour in last. That way we don't have to sift everything together. So we need to add in 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So 1, 2, and then 2 teaspoons of salt. So 1, 2. I'm just going to give our bacon a quick stir over here because I don't want any part to get super crispy. I want it to cook nice and evenly. Here we go. So we've got our 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of salt, and now we're going to add in a little bit of sugar, about 1/4 cup. You don't need much sugar because you're going to be we'll have the blueberry compote or you'll have syrup on it. So they're not super sweet waffles, but they're just perfect. So about 1/4 cup of sugar into our mixture. And then we're going to give this a nice mix. And then we'll add in our flour. There we go. And I just want to make sure that all of that baking powder gets dispersed evenly through our mixture because that's what's going to help the waffles kind of fluff up. And now we're going to add in 2 cups of all-purpose flour. So let's see. 1. And there's a little pocket in there. There we go. 2. We'll give that a good whip together and our batter will be made. And I do have my big waffle iron preheating right now, so it'll be nice and ready to go. So let's whisk these together. You don't want to over whisk your waffle batter too much. You just want to make it until all the flour is just combined. So we're going to get there. Beautiful. It's a little bit thicker of a batter than if you were to use oil because the butter kind of cools and thickens up, but it leads for a really delicious tasting waffle. There we go. Beautiful. So we've got our waffle batter mixed together. We're done with our egg beaters. So let me give a spatula. We're just going to kind of scoop around, make sure there's no flour pockets in here. Perfect. And our waffle batter will be ready to start making waffles. But before we move that, we're going to start on our blueberry compote. So I'm going to add in about a cup of blueberries to my little pot right here. Get a big handful of these. There we go. And then I'm going to squirt over the juice from 1 lemon, or 1/2 of a lemon. So about a tablespoon of fresh lemon juice.
You got a question? What was the waffle batter recipe?
Yes. So the waffle batter recipe was 4 eggs, 2 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1/4 cup of sugar, 1/2 cup of melted butter, and 1.5 cups of milk and 2 cups of sourdough discard. So pretty basic, not a super complex batter. Now we've got our cup of blueberries with half a lemon juice squeezed over, and then we are going to add in some sugar to sweeten this up, about a half a cup of sugar. And then I'm going to turn on my back burner to low, and we're going to just let them simmer and cook, let the natural juices of the blueberries come out. And then at the very end, we'll add some cornstarch to make a little slurry and then thicken them up, kind of like that blueberry pie, filling has that little bit of that kind of jealous texture. So we're going to let these cook. I'm just going to pop a couple of them with my spoon to let out the juices, and we're going to let those simmer on low. Just going to rotate my bacon around. I like to cook my bacon like on a lower temperature and slow, so nothing gets burned and it kind of cooks up evenly. My kids are very particular with how their bacon is cooked. They do not like bacon that's cooked in the oven or anything like that. It has to be pan fried. Okay, so here we've got our big old honkin' waffle maker. I've had this in my family like for almost 10, 15 years. I'm going to give it a nice spray. It's been preheating. And we're going to just go through. And I'm going to spoon in our waffle batter into things. You just make sure you gotta fill it up, but you don't want to overfill it because otherwise it'll explode out the sides. So that should be about good. I'm going to push start. It has a little timer that will let you know how long to cook it. And it makes 2 huge ones at a time. I'll give it a little spray. And we're going to spoon in the rest of our waffle batter. There we go. These are the waffles are one of my kids' favorite to make. During the week, we just have like quick breakfasts. But on the weekends, I like to do kind of a bigger, like a brunch style breakfast, which then I only have to cook 1 meal for breakfast and lunch. But then we do a little bit more bougie and fancy. Okay. So I've got my waffles cooking up here. Now, put my wrong burner on. There we go. Let me give the bacon a nice little turn. Beautiful. I'm going to toss it. And I'm just going to kind of spread it around. There. Now let's look at our blueberries that we have over here cooking in our pot. I'm just going to slowly just smash them with my spoon. This is like a silicone spoon, so it can go in like hot things up to like 550 degrees. So I always like to cook with silicone just because it is heat proof versus the hard plastics, which are good for like a serving, but not really good for cooking with. There we go. Smash a couple more. And I do see 2 lemon seeds. 1, 2. Although that lemon, I feel like sometimes I get a lemon and I cut it open and it has like 500 seeds in it. This one only had, I used it for part of our recipe last night. And today there's like hardly any seeds in it, which is wonderful. Okay. Let's toss our bacon one more time and we're going to look at these waffles in just a second. They are almost done. Well, if your waffle thing doesn't have a timer on it, a good way to know when your waffles are done is when you stop seeing the steam. So you can see a lot of steam coming out of my waffle maker. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it is like very steamy. That means it's cooking out the excess liquid from the milk. So if you don't have a timer on it, you can easily be like, when you stop seeing that, it's done. Put my eggs over here. We're going to do our eggs and bacon grease in a little bit, but I like to make sure I have a couple waffles done before I start it.
Couple people that prefer straight bacon and other.
I know people like my brother is very much, he likes the bacon in the oven. I like it either way, but my kids are very like, they think it gets chewy in the oven.
There's no comparison. straight bake in the oven is awful. You're ruining bacon if you do
Oh,
that.
that's my husband. There you go. Okay, let's see this. Look at this beautiful waffle. Let me push this reset. Perfect. Let me get a fork to pop that off. I like bacon any way you can have it. I don't think there's anything wrong with bacon anyway. So here is our beautiful waffle. And then I'm going to give it a nice little coat. Again, these are like non-stick, but I've always just naturally just put the spray on it because I don't want to deal with like a waffle sticking on it. But it's not supposed to. But nothing's worse than when your waffle sticks to your thing and you can't get it off and it rips in half. There we go. Fill it up around. And then we're going to push start. And then I'm going to flip it. Beautiful, lovely, golden waffles. And these are like those really, I always feel like these are like the hotel waffles because whenever you stay in a hotel, they have those waffle makers with the pre-made batter and they go in there and I'm like, oh, it's a hotel waffle. But they're just really big, beautiful Belgian ones. There we go. Fill it around. This is a great recipe also if you have a lot of sourdough discard. This recipe, I mean, you'd probably have it for your guy, most people's family, but we are, a family of 7. So we eat a lot more than a traditional family.
You have a question? What's the brand of waffle maker?
This is a KitchenAid, Pro line. I've had this one for a long time. I actually think it was my parents and I just stole it from them because they don't make waffles as much as we do. But it's at least a decade old. I'm sure they have an updated one, but I love it. It gives you that really good, like big, crunchy, puffy, delicious waffle. Okay. We've got our bacon cooking here. Let's check on our blueberries, see how they are. We're starting to get some of those dissolving. And then I'm just like to smash it up. That just helps the natural liquid in the blueberries come out. So not all of my kids like blueberry waffles or blueberry pancakes. So
you do have a question.
Yes.
You use sourdough discard a lot. In the future, can you do an episode on exactly how you do that?
Yes, I can definitely do that. Especially I'll do like a rundown through for people who are wanting to make sourdough. I do have a couple of videos posted on the League Gunner page for how to make your own sourdough starter, but I will go back and do it. It's not a process where you're going to have it in a day. It takes about a week, give or take a couple of days until your fermented sourdough is ready. So I'll just kind of do a run through it. Is basically you start out on day 1 and it's like 150 grams of flour and 150 grams of water. You mix it and you put it in a jar and you let it sit for a day. And you kind of repeat that process for 7 days, but throwing away half of it every single day until you get to a fully like fermented sourdough starter. And then that's when you can use the discard. The discard in the beginning is not really worth anything because it doesn't have that fermentation process on it. But it's, that's why I said it takes about a week before you can bake a good bread. If your kitchen's warmer, it might be a little faster. If your kitchen's a little hotter, it might be a little bit slower.
And then you have a question. Is your waffle and pancake mixture, is it exactly the same?
No, it is not. So there we go. My waffle mixture actually has a bit more fat in it and a bit more egg than my pancake mixture because waffles need a bit more oil to crisp up in the waffle maker. So they just need more. So I use a bit more butter in it. But again, very similar recipes, but you really can't use a true pancake mixture in a waffle maker because you need a more fat in it to kind of crisp up on those griddles. That's kind of why waffles got a crunch to them, like true waffles.
And you have comments that people love your pans.
Oh, thank you. They're just the hex clad. I love them. I got them 2 years ago when we remodeled our kitchen. And it was my here's for suffering cooking in our office for, 5 months. They are expensive, but I do love them. They are a great set. I have yet to scratch them, which I could not say was the truth about the other ones. Like I had Calphalon before and Cuisinart. Here we go. Look at this. See how quickly these waffles just pop out?
And you got a couple more questions about the waffle maker. What brand is it?
This is a KitchenAid Pro Series waffle maker. So it's yeah, I'll see that, move it out of there. I'm sure they have a new updated one. So this exact model, I'm sure, has been retired because it's, a decade old. But that tells you it lasts, we've been using it for a decade. And we make waffles, I want to say once or twice a month because they're just a family favorite. The kids love waffles, pancakes, French toast. Those are just all of their favorites. Okay, now that our waffles are almost done, I get my compote. We're starting to get a nice dissolve on it, the sugar in there. We're going to start on our eggs. So for our eggs, I'm just going to steal a little bit of bacon grease from this pan. Not much because I still want my bacon to crisp up nicely. And we're going to put a little bacon one in here as well. Give it a nice little flavor without necessarily all those little chunkies in it. And then with my bacon grease, I'm going to put a little bit of butter in it. And let me get my back one going as well. So it's kind of a mixture of bacon, grease, and butter. So it gives you that salty, bacony flavor and a little bit of the butter.
You have a question. What was added to the blueberries?
Just a juice from half a lemon and about a half a cup of sugar. And we're cooking them until they've got a nice bubble on them. Then we'll add a little bit of cornstarch to thicken it up, kind of give you that blueberry pie filling feeling to it. Our bacon is getting there. The trick is when you're cooking bacon is if you got to have the right size pan for it. You can't cook a little bit of bacon in a big pan because then all the natural fat in the bacon spreads out and it won't get a good crisp up. And I think that's kind of the reason why I don't like bacon in the oven, because the fat doesn't completely crisp it up, which gives you the more chewiness to it. And so if your bacon is too little for the pan, then you have to add either a little bit of oil or butter to continue that crisping up, or move to a smaller pan. So this is like the big, I want to say this is probably the 12-inch griddle, and this was a pack and a half of bacon. And it's the perfect amount because you can see the bacon grease all the way around is coating it. If you don't have enough bacon grease in it, you're going to burn your bacon because it doesn't have enough to keep it crisping. Okay, let's see. Got my eggs. So half of us like scrambled eggs and half of us like fried eggs. Well, actually 2 of us like fried eggs. Oh, let me grab this. I'm going to power it off. Beautiful. Got my last waffle coming out. Perfect. And we are just about done. One thing is we'll just scramble up our eggs real quick and do our fried eggs. So people, don't have a heart attack. I am putting like a fortune in eggs in here. So breathe with me. Breathe. It's always crazy. I always do the grocery shopping for my parents, and so they haven't been to the store in a while. And I was talking to them about how much eggs cost recently, and they were in shock. She's like, I remember when eggs were like 99 cents a dozen. And I'm like, I do too. I do too. Especially since we, as our large family, we go through so many eggs a week, probably close to 4 to 5 dozens of eggs a week because my little ones eat them for breakfast every day. So it's a lot of eggs.
Oh, yeah, question. What's your honest review of the aprons you're wearing? They're thinking about getting one.
Okay. I just got them. I did the mystery box because I could get 3 that were cheaper and I wanted to test them out before I made the commitment of spending a lot of money on them. I really like it because, and this is the essential one where it just has like the basic tie in the back. I'm not a big smock person. I like it. They're heavy duty. I am able to like wipe off the grime at the end. I haven't washed them yet, so I don't know what they look like coming out of the washer, if they will retain their shape or whatnot. But so far, I do really like it. It is a nice, thick, sturdy one. and it hangs nicely on my neck. So I will say that some aprons, they don't like hang well, and this one, the length is just perfect, I will say, for me. I like them. I'm, let's see, let me grab, I've got over here paper towels. I'm a little bit of a heftier person, and the ties are really long. I could actually tie it in front if I wanted to, which is nice. Some aprons, like the ties aren't super long, but I will say I really like it. Now, I haven't washed it, so I can't tell you how it's going to be coming out of the washer, if it's still going to retain thing. But so far, it hasn't really stained, and I have 3 of them. I will say when I did get my mystery box, I got all Star Wars. So if you are not a Star Wars fan, I don't know if that would happen to you or not. But I do know if you sign up, they offer you like a discount. And let's take out our bacon. Nice and crispy. Okay, we've got our bacon.
Yeah, someone mentioned they weren't hungry, but now they want second breakfast.
Yes, we were. I was talking about Tolkien's. He has like a rhyme about eggs, and it's like, oh, what is it? Like, no hinge, no key, but golden treasure lies. I butchered it. My husband can. It is, but I was like sitting there, and I'm like, eggs are truly the golden treasure now of how expensive they are. Okay, I turn my eggs down a little bit. We're gonna do my fried eggs over here. I've got my bacon grease and my butter up. I'm gonna warn you, I'm not the best at fried eggs.
You went 3 for 3 yesterday.
I did. I was like, look at me, I'm amazing. It's the flip. I'm always like crack an egg on the flip because I like mine sunny side over. Now, if I were just gonna cook them, sunny side up, but I like them over easy, it's not so bad. There we go. It really goes down to your, like, what spatula you're using.
Yeah, question. Did you see? Oh, I guess you're addressing it. They're asking, did you season your eggs, or if they missed it?
I'm salting them right now. I like to salt them towards the very end of it because I feel like if you salt them too soon, it like dissolves the salt quicker, and they don't taste as salty than if you put them right at the end.
And you had what, bacon grease? And
yes,
butter?
A little bit of bacon grease and salted butter. Okay, these eggs are perfect. They're nice and fluffy. If you cook them longer, they'll dry out. We don't like snotty eggs. We like nice, fluffy, dry ones. My also trick, if you like fluffier eggs, add a little bit of milk or water. If you like richer eggs, add another yolk, and it will make for a lovely, rich egg. And I'm going to slide it off on the heat here. Let me go grab a trivet because it's crowding over there. Okay. I mean, theoretically, they say you can put hot pans straight on your quartz. I am always like, I'm going to ruin my quartz. So we've got these eggs. These eggs are about ready to flip. And then let's add our cornstarch to our blueberry compote. Okay. We don't need much cornstarch because it will thicken it up pretty quickly. And I'm going to try to do a nice little dusting of it. You don't want it to come out in a big chunk. Otherwise, you'll have like a cornstarch dumpling in yours. So that is probably about a teaspoon. Just enough to give it a nice little kind of a slightly thickened so it's not as runny. But look at that, beautiful. This is going to be so delicious on our things. And that was just blueberries, lemon juice, and a little bit of sugar. And we have a lovely compote. And that's great for if you have people who don't like blueberry waffles or pancakes, just do a blueberry compote on the side. Okay, guys, here is the moment of truth. Can I flip them without breaking them? Ooh. Okay, this one I want to note is already broken, so that's not me. As I butcher it even more. Perfect. Hey, not bad, not bad. I feel like I'm going to turn off the heat, let it crisp up because I do like that kind of crisp side on it, but you don't want to overcook it where your egg gets chewy. But let's plate up our brunch today. So we will have, these are huge waffles, so not a full waffle. We'll do a half waffle. Perfect. And then put scrambled eggs on here. I'm going to do my little one so that he can eat his food nice and hot. We've got our eggs. Put our bacon. And now for the blueberry compote. I'm going to put here so I have a hand. I'm going to move my eggs off my burner. And look at this beautiful blueberry compote. You fill up all those nice little gaps in there. And that is our brunch today. Well, guys, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We try to do live cooking shows every day because we just kind of show you what we eat as a family. I don't cook any food that we're not going to eat because who wants to waste that money? Well, guys, thanks again for joining us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And feel free to send us a message or comment if you have any cooking questions or recipes you'd like to see. Bye.